Hopefully you can hear me. It's quite loud out here, but there's this saying that I love, and what it is that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. As for this, I know this got your attention, and I'm going to somewhat cover this point, but it's not actually the key message here, so stay with me. Also ignore the fact that my pen is not very good, right? Look, it's too strong. The pen's too OP, so it's just leaving like a crazy mark. I'm gonna have to clean this properly when we get round to it. Nevertheless, luck equals preparation plus opportunity. Hold on, let me speed this up a little bit. Luck equals preparation plus opportunity. What do I mean when I say that? And why am I even saying that? Like, why? What am I even talking about? Well, in the context I'm referring to when I talk about luck is success. So we have a tendency, anytime we see somebody who's successful, whether it be like an A-class doctor or a business owner, I'm gonna have to talk really loud because I'm on the roadside right now. Business owner, somebody who's famous, especially somebody who's young and successful. You can't even see that far. I'm going on a tangent. So we have a tendency to call people lucky when they achieve success, period, or when they get to a desirable position, perhaps a position that we'd like for ourselves. And what it actually is when we say that is the fact they met an opportunity and they were prepared. If that's the case, how do we become lucky? How do we prepare for opportunity? How we prepare for opportunity is through skill. We prepare for opportunity and thus become lucky through skills, okay? What do I mean when I say this? For example, when you're on your YouTube homepage, because obviously you're watching this on YouTube, right? And you see my videos, and perhaps one of my videos gets 1,000 views, 2,000, 3,000 views. You might consider me lucky. And also, there is no acronym for skills. I just wanted to put it like that. I don't know why. You consider me lucky when YouTube is showing my videos on your page and it's promoting me on the algorithm. Let me show you why that isn't lucky, and also why when I hit 100,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers, it's not actually luck that contributed to it. It's just the fact I met an opportunity and I was prepared. How do I prepare to get lucky on YouTube, and how have I prepared thus far? Well, first of all, I invested. What do you mean? I invested in a camera. Because as you see, look, my phone's right here, which means I'm recording this on something else. This is a Sony ZV-10 and it cost me around £700 with my Sigma Prime lens. So camera cost me £700. I invested in a microphone. Right here I've got a DJI Mic 2. This cost me £250. I'm also sitting this on a Seru tripod, which cost me £70. But not only that, I've also committed to consistency on YouTube. So every single week, if you've noticed, ever since I started posting on YouTube 6 months ago, I've maintained a consistent schedule. So I've also invested time and effort. I say effort because some of the videos that you see on there, perhaps the ones with the least views, I spent the most time editing. Some of these videos, because you got to remember, it took me so long to learn how to edit videos. So some of the videos I've got on here took me 10 hours to edit. So that's just one reason. This isn't actually playing into skill so much. But let me talk about skill. So essentially when it comes to YouTube, YouTube promotes videos that it thinks people are going to watch. Okay, if that's the case, how do we increase our watch time when it comes to making YouTube videos? It's very simple. You've got to learn how to speak on camera. This is something I'm still practicing. I'm not here to say I'm the best at it, but every single time I speak on video, I'm getting better and I'm improving my skills. And I'm also doing things outside of YouTube to improve my speaking on camera ability. So I'm doing things like reading books out loud to myself. I'm constantly talking throughout the day consciously about topics which I'd like to make YouTube videos on. So when it comes to having the camera on live, I can speak on camera much better. Editing skills. Editing skills is another thing. Obviously, you've got to get good at editing. And eventually, I want to be able to outsource my editing so somebody else can do it. So that's a different subject. Thumbnail creation. I've also spent a lot of time editing my thumbnails and playing around and testing with different thumbnails. You could say that's a skill because people on Upwork and Fiverr are charging £50 per thumbnail. So that's another skill. All of this to say that when I finally do blow up on the algorithm, it's not going to be luck that contributed to it. It's not going to be luck that contributed to it. Also, there's a lot of different aspects when it comes to learning to speak on camera. There's an ability. When it comes to skills, there's always a replicable process to acquire that skill. So when it comes to learning how to speak on camera, for example, you've got the ability to storytell, which is very important. This is why I always talk about concepts and ideas through stories, personal stories of my own life, because that's how people can resonate. That's how people resonate with the message. If you read the Bible, one of the most influential books of all time, it is literally nothing but stories. Why do you think that is? So now, going to the meat of the subject, let's talk about business and why all businesses is a set of skills, right? For example, let's talk about the business that I'm involved in, which is a marketing agency. When I eventually get to a point where I'm making £100,000 per month, that isn't lucky. Let me get my red pen out actually to illustrate my point even further. I'm a little bit more prepared on this video. Why is it not luck when I get to £100,000 per month? Also, let's ignore the obscurity of my positioning here. I'm literally on the roadside, it's very loud. I'm sitting on the edge of my car. Let's ignore that, it doesn't even matter. Why is it not luck when I get to £100,000 per month doing my marketing agency business? Because I would have acquired all the skills necessary to produce £100,000 per month. What skills are these? Well, there's personal skills, starting out, like sales. Obviously, you get to a point where you can outsource all of this and you have a team of people. So the only skills you need to acquire, rarely, is leadership and team building abilities and building a culture inside of your organization. But until that point, and it's still relevant, it's still necessary to have all the skills, even if it's just from an understanding level. So when you go to teaching other people, you know what to look out for. When you go to hiring other people, sorry, I should say. So sales, systems, law. You need to not break the law, so you need to know a little bit, just a tiny bit, when it comes to law. You need to know about finance, because if not, you're not going to spend your money very well. You're going to buy too many softwares and you're going to blow out. This helps you increase your run rate and it helps you be tax efficient. So you need to learn a little bit about finance, a little bit about law, a little bit about systems, and a lot of bit about sales. Most of a marketing agency is sales. And when it comes to these skill sets, so sales, systems, law, and finance, there's loads of different sub-skills when it comes to attaining these skills. For example, sales in particular, there's so many different sub-skills, I swear to God. Especially when you're somebody who's naturally introverted like I am. This is like a completely foreign territory, right? You've got the skill of authority. You might be thinking, what does that even mean? It sounds so abstract. It really isn't. So your ability to speak in a way where you can convince other people towards your agenda, and you sound convicted in how you speak, and the words you say, people are hanging on to every single word. That is called authority. You've got tonality, which is maybe a sub-skill when it comes to authority. You've got cadence, which is the speed in which you're talking and delivering your words. Crazy, right? So when somebody's a good salesman, they're balancing all of these different sub-skills in synchronicity to create this perception of somebody who knows how to sell. And the main point of selling is you are appealing to somebody's pain points. We only buy products, we only buy things when we are in pain. Think about it. Like, for example, buying my car. Why did I buy my car? Because I didn't want to walk everywhere. Walking everywhere throughout all my life has been painful. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. So I thought, you know what, I'd invest in a car. That's one example. Then when it comes to standing out, like when it comes to somebody buying something, the process in which they choose you amongst all the other competition is called branding. So that's a skill you also need to learn about when it comes to having a marketing agency. Because otherwise, without branding, you're not going to be able to differentiate amongst all your other competition. Because obviously now, marketing agencies are very saturated and people are cold calling businesses every single day trying to pitch their marketing services. So we need branding, which is a skill in itself, to stand out amongst different people. And if you don't acquire the skill of branding, what happens is, let me use my red pen in fact to illustrate my point, you become a commodity. What a commodity is somebody who can't charge more, and so they can only lead based on price. If you only lead based on price, you're going straight to the ground, right? Rolls-Royce do not lead. I'm thinking about Rolls-Royce, I'm literally outside a Rolls-Royce factory just up the road. If you cannot brand and differentiate yourself through branding and through storytelling, because what is a brand? A brand is a story and a promise. If you can't do that, you become a commodity. And that means you've got to go as cheap as possible. You've got to go cheap. You've got to bury your profit margins into the ground and you will die. All in this to say, before I start going on tangents again, is that to acquire what it is you want, you need, sorry, I got the wrong pen out. You need skills. You need skill sets. So for the guy who's at £0 per month and you want to get to £10,000 per month, the process is very, 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 very simple. All you need to do is pick a vehicle. Because it doesn't matter how hard you work, it doesn't matter how hard you row, what matters is what boat you're in. That's what Warren Buffett said is very smart advice if we peel back the layers, if you like. Vehicle is your source of income, meaning if you work a job, if you work a quote-unquote 9 to 5 like I did a couple months back, no matter how hard you work, going back to when I was working 60-hour weeks at Amazon, I was at work every single day, all day, and that feels productive and your ego gets a kick out of that. But what you will notice is you will never achieve financial freedom doing that. Even if you're specialized, as long as you're trading time for money, you will never, ever, 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 ever get rich. Never. It's just not how it works. So all you guys that are working, it's not how it works. The difference between a poor and a rich person, the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee is the fact that an entrepreneur is leveraged, meaning he's leveraging other people's time. So theoretically speaking, an entrepreneur doesn't actually have 24 hours in a day because he doesn't just have his hours in a day to execute towards his mission of achieving finances and helping solve people's problems. He has hundreds of people. So what happens is, as you start to leverage yourself and you start to gain the skill sets and you start to hire people and you start to learn about different hiring skill sets and you start to learn about CEO skill sets like leadership and culture building and direction, as you start to learn these things, you will become leveraged. And the funny thing is that leverage also starts with L, like that word, look. This is not a bash on entrepreneurs, by the way. All of my family are entrepreneurs. All of my family's family, all of my generations up to this day have been entrepreneurs. What am I trying to say? There's never been a rich person inside of my family. I'm not born from any sort of silver spoon, whether I'm in touch with them or not. There's nobody who is truly financially independent. So this is completely foreign for my genetic makeup, right? This idea of financial abundance. So the last thing I'm going to do is go and slate all of my ancestors when they worked so hard to give me this opportunity to be able to achieve financial abundance. So I'm not poo-pooing on jobs. Jobs are amazing and we need jobs. But we also need more entrepreneurs, because without entrepreneurs, we can't create the jobs what people need and we can't run this economy. Without entrepreneurs, this whole thing fails. So we need each other, right? Entrepreneurs need employees, and employees need entrepreneurs. That's just how it works. All of this to say, sorry, I was going on a little bit of a topic. If you want to make £10,000 a month, you pick a vehicle to get to £10,000 a month. A job won't do it. No form of job, no form of trading time for money will do it. So what you need to do is you need to pick a business model. My business model that I choose was an agency because it was logical to choose that starting out. Why? Because it's cheap to start, you don't need any upfront costs, and you cash flow from the start. These are all good things for a business because you don't want to invest in a business if you've got no entrepreneurial track record doing drop shipping or something what requires a lot of upfront capital. It just doesn't make much sense, right? So I just thought I would start from the very beginning. So if you want to make to £10,000 a month, just like how I do, and I'm on this journey, and you're watching this video and my title is going to be something about £0 to £10,000 a month, so I'm assuming you want to get to £0 to £10,000 a month. You just got to pick a business model, and you've got to acquire the skills required to take that vehicle to £10,000 a month. That's all I've got to say. Let me show you my setting again. That's it.